Basque peoples fight for independence. Kimberly Burgueño, University of Arizona Global Campus, LibArts 495 Advanced Research Project, Professor Aaron Morris, November 21st, 2022. Contents, main ideas. Thesis. Why is this important? Who are the Basque people? History, culture, politics, political groups. Conclusion. Why is this subject important? The following are a few of the reasons why. 1. Clarify the importance of the Basque people in history. 2. Make the clear distinction that there is a difference between the Basque people and the Basque separatist groups. 3. Examine the impact that the separatist group had on the government. 4. Understand the focal points to why the separatists took such an aggressive approach to change. And lastly, make sure that there is change for the Basque people in the future for generations to come. Basis for thesis. While Basque separatist groups have used violence, they are fighting for political and cultural freedom because they are fighting for independence from Spain and France. Basques want to keep their cultural identity and they want to keep their history. During the course of this presentation, I will provide the following research and data to support my thesis. To truly understand the Basque people, it is essential to learn a bit about their history since they have been overlooked through much of it. The Basque people themselves are rich in community, art, literature, and politics. These are the few of the qualities that they have carved out for themselves over the past couple centuries. Their own history is rich with a lengthy ideal of what a communal town could be. Who are the Basque people? Where do they come from? The Basque Country is the name given to the geographical area of the Basque people. The Basque Country is located in the western Pyrenees, straddling the border between France and Spain on the coast of the Bay of Biscay. The area is broken into 7 provinces. The area dates from the 16th century. The Basque people speak Yorkese. It is considered one of the oldest languages spoken on Earth today. The Basque people's culture and economy are directly related to the structure and many of the issues that they had with the neighboring countries in their fight for sovereignty. Basque economy and culture was based around fishing, handmade goods, and services. The centralized notion of a town governing itself, where citizens held each other accountable and disputes were figured out amongst the town people. All money was expected to trickle back into the town's economy, considering that everything was locally sourced. Spain and France wanted a taxation that wouldn't necessarily help each town. The governments of France and Spain wanted to change Basque people's historical way of life, dictating to them so much as to the language and cultural experiences that they could present in their community. Spain was pushing for an industrialized Basque economy. This was history. Understanding that the Basque were a community struggling to keep their identity while being invaded and being dictated by other countries, it's a bit astonishing that they were able to hold on to their culture and community so well. They are like any other indigenous community fighting to hold on to themselves and what they hold dear in their world. Basque Resistance for Independence by Maddie Torabane. Basque proverb. The stupid find relief in the suffering of others. In northwest Spain, the indigenous community known as the Basque have suffered from the stupidity of others. They have survived invasion by the Romans, Visigoths, Arabs, French, and Spanish, and resisted domination by others repeatedly from the 5th century to the 15th while fighting for full independence. History behind the start of the conflict. The conflict was a political and armed conflict with Spain, France, and the Basque separatist movement. They sought independence from Spain and France. The issue was centered around the idea of a dictatorship. The Basque people wanted a democracy and the ability to be an independent state. The Basque participated in the Spanish Civil War. The above cartography was completed in 2018 to show the movement and impact of the Civil War on the Basque population. The amount of impact the Spanish Civil War had on the towns in the Basque Country impacted the economy. With men off being at war, it impacted the ability for many families to provide. This caused an economic shift among Basque Country and communities. The Basque people fought alongside other Spaniards for the Second World War, and they enlisted in the United States armies too for those that were state-bound. This shows the versatility and resilience of the Basque people. Regardless of the situation the people went through, they fought for a greater good. The war also impacted the Basque Country areas. The area impacted the Basque communities with the impact on the population and the amount of orphans that were now left in the wake of the war. Political parties, origins, political violence, hostages, and a brief history. What is the ETA? The ETA is an acronym for Euskadi ta Askuskana, which means Basque Country and Freedom. It is a nationally armed separatist organization in the Basque Country in northern Spain and southwestern France. Here is illustrated a comprehensive breakdown of ETA's timeline in regards to the military and violence that took place with their cause. In 1959, the ETA is formed Basque nationalists, mostly a majority students, that felt that the PNV political party had let them down, so they decided to start their own organization. Their first act of violence that was noted was in 1973 when Luis Carrona Blanco, Francisco Franco's prime minister, was blown up in his car. In 1987, there was also a bombing that took the lives of many. In 1997, a shooter victims died and millions protest the following day. This is one of the first times that it was noted that ETA wasn't taking a very likable approach when it came to the public. They were taking on too much of a violent approach to things, and the public was outraged, especially many Basque people that felt that they were being lumped together with this party. August 9th, 2009 was the last attack on Spanish soil by the ETA. In 2011, they announced that they would halt any violent acts or any use of force. In April 8th of The Basque Conflict and ETA, The Difficulties of an Ending by Teresa Whitfield on behalf of the United States Institute of Peace Special Report. This report helped to draw out the process to disarm and dissolution of the violent Basque separatist organization and extract lessons for policy makers to better understand these types of state of the Basque people. The Basque people and the separatists have found peace. There is still a rich culture of Basque people and their language is spoken actively today. But there's also sad sentiment left from the violence that the ETA used. In a recent online article on France 24, a decade after Basque separatist group ETA renounced the use of arms, the northern Spanish region is still trying to turn the page on decades of bloodshed. The impact that was left by the Basque separatist ETA is still there to this day. Conclusion. While Basque separatist groups have used violence, they fought for political and cultural freedom from independence from Spain and France. Basques wanted to keep their cultural identity and they wanted to keep their history. Even though the Basque separatist groups could never gain their independent state, they were able to make their case known to the world. As a result, the Basque people kept their communities and culture alive. And recently, in the past few decades, they have had more of a voice in the Spanish and French governments. This shows that the Basque people weren't terrorists as they were once thought to be.